Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
And today is all about living made easy. Well, it's pretty simple.
Well, it is if you're here.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're here in the current moment of your life, not worrying about a future that hasn't arrived or working on a past that's already gone by, then life does get easier. And you're here for your life, so you stop doing those things that create mischief going forward in time.
Shya and I recently went on a fishing trip up to the Miramichi. It's a lovely, lovely river. Yes, baby, our cat is crying all about it. We caught no fish in the few days we were up there.
So if you are a fish lover, not eater, we did not even touch a fish.
And so we did a Living Made Easy seminar this week. And one of the folks who came said, how could you have a great time when you're there to catch fish and you caught none?
That's right.
And it really is all about being here, being where we are, as opposed to talking to ourselves about what we would prefer.
Well, you see, your life is showing up moment by moment. And in the current moment, you're exactly where you are, where you can't be anywhere else but where you are in the current moment of your life. Your life circumstances are exactly what they are in this moment. Now, if you're complaining about it, then this is the wrong moment. But if you're here for it, well, then you might experience the air you're breathing. You might taste your food. You might see the color of the flowers or the sky or the mountains and the trees.
Or the details of your office, or actually feel your hands on the steering wheel of the car if you're driving, or the vibration of the train if that's where you are. It's really about experiencing yourself in your environment rather than being lost in your thoughts.
Now, the other thing is you have preferences. You have the idea that things would be better if.
And there's nothing wrong with having preferences. You have them. We have them. Everyone has them.
However, life does not show up to meet your preferences. So when you can start enjoying being where you are, then life gets a lot easier than being in a constant complaint that it should be different. Now, here's the problem with that one. If you complain that things should be different and think they should be different, even if they are different, you'll think that should be different too. So you can't win when you're locked in a paradigm of complaint. Then even if your circumstances change to the what you wanted, it won't be.
It'll be like, well, finally.
And it's not really the way I wanted it anyway.
Yes.
And something else will be better. And if you look at relationship, most people's relationships work that way. They think if they had a different relationship.
Or a better, more something, more sex, less sex, something, it would be better. By the way, you may have noticed, Shya and I do finish each other's sentences. And we have mentioned a lot of our different senses so far, but we're missing the one that you're using for this podcast, which is...
And that's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a moment or two, that most of the time we think about what's being said to see whether we agree with it or disagree with it. We don't actually listen. We're thinking, and that thinking is in comparison to what we already know. So it's really almost impossible to discover anything newly when you're comparing it to what you think is reality.
But when you're here, your life transforms.
When you're being here, like the name of the show, your life transforms just out of your being in current time. Here's the problem. We've all been raised by good, meaning people who believed what they were taught growing up, and they passed it on to the next generation and from one generation to the next. Now, we're living in a very interesting time where time has sped up dramatically in that you have these technological revolutions that produce quantum shifts in the technology of humanity, but it has not produced a quantum shift in the experience of well-being for humanity. It's just complicated things. In certain respect, it's simplified. You can get more work done with a computer because it does the repetitive stuff over and over. But so do you. You repeat your thoughts over and over, and you think that someday you'll get what you want. But if as long as you're disagreeing with the way your life is showing up, then you will keep repeating that. That's just one of the functions of life. What you resist, you repeat.
Let's
Let's
take
our first guest.
Yes. Okay, Daniela, welcome to being here. Where are you
Hey.
zooming in from?
Hi.
Hi.
Today I'm zooming in from Bergisch Gladbach, which is in Germany, close to Cologne.
Bergen Lachbach.
Say it one more time first.
Bergisch
Bergisch
Gladbach.
Gladbach.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to ask me in a minute, and I will not be able to tell you
But
that.
I like being able to hear it and reproduce it. It's so much fun. And I appreciate you saying it slowly so I can parse the strange sounds. It was very sweet of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, you're very sweet, and you don't think you're very sweet. What do you think about that?
It rings a bell.
Rings a bell.
Well, you catalog all the times you got snippy with your boyfriend or snippy with your daughter, or, like you've had unkind thoughts, and those get cataloged. And so it kind of gets between you and the experience of your sweetness. But
so what can we do for you
we
today?
can experience it.
I am participating in this call. I just wanted to listen to you and be with you. I don't have a particular question, and
well, I like being with you too, and I like that you don't have a particular question.
We like questions, and we like not having questions.
Because if you don't have a question, then things are going pretty good.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes people don't have a question because they're hiding something from themselves, or they're afraid of what they might see, but that doesn't seem to be the experience.
And most of the time, people are afraid that what they might see is something bad about themselves, because we've all been raised in a psychological paradigm about life, as if the things we've done or haven't done are producing our lives in the current moment. So if you if you look, you'll see that history does repeat itself. We listen to the same thoughts over and over every day, and they're usually negative about us. Even if we have successes and wins, somewhere
Eventually
that voice that you listen to, that complaining conversation that you listen to, tells you you could have done it better. You should have had more. Better results.
What comes up now is that, I've known you since 2016.
Wow.
And what I noticed lately is that it seems that I have a question, then I'm starting to formulate the question or to construct it, and then it's like nothing comes out, and then I'm thinking maybe I don't have a question.
Well, look, if you tell the truth, my dear, life has gotten a lot easier.
It is.
Well, it's a little bit like this, Daniela. The early version of what we do here was Shya's body work called Shya work. And
I did physical work on people's bodies to get them out of pain.
So they'd have a pain, and he'd touch into, say, if it was in your shoulder, he'd take his thumb and he'd push the spot or touch the spot so the person would experience the sensation. and it had them describe it. And in the descriptive process,
they would experience what was going on in their body, not their thoughts about it.
And then it would dissolve.
Because anything you experience completes itself.
Eventually we discovered that we could impact a lot of people in a different format. So part of which is what we're doing here.
The different format was we could work with a lot of people and not have to touch them, but trick them basically into the current moment of their lives.
And in that place,
things that were problematic start dissolving all on their own just because you're allowing them to be the way they are. What you resist, first principle of instantaneous transformation, what you resist persists, grows stronger, and dominates your life. Well, as you have seen things about yourself and didn't resist them, they melted away naturally. So you haven't been making lists of things you need to change anymore. So when we met you, you were.
We often say that
I wish people could see your face. And, I said that because you really saw that things used to be very serious.
You had lots of lists against yourself, against your mother, against your boyfriend,
sister,
etc. Yes. We often say that transformation is instantaneous.
And it's cumulative.
So in the description of this podcast, we say your life can transform in an instant, which is true. We could actually have said it transforms in an instant. It's easy again and again and again. And one of the things that's happened for you, because you do attend courses with us, you've come to Costa Rica
regularly, so that the regularity allows you to discover this alternate reality that we're talking about, not as a concept, but as an experience.
So you traveled to Hamburg, you've traveled to New York, you do Zoom seminars, the Living Made Easy 2-hour seminars, Costa Rica. You've invested.
And it's like learning a new language. If you don't practice it, it doesn't stick.
It gets rusty.
Right.
Yeah, I can agree to that. And what I also noticed is that, of course, I have my natural impulses wherever they can come from. But what also is cool is that usually now what happens is it's like I have a possibility to decide, because I see when I can tap into drama. Yes. And then sometimes so cool. Sometimes the thought come up, then it's something like go and win, or don't do the drama. Don't like something. It's not only my impulses, the natural impulse, but also my new knowledge coming from this technology comes also up and says, okay, wait a minute,
What would you like?
You have a choice. You have a choice to get into the drama of it, or you have a choice to look, yesterday it was very hot here where we live. 90 degrees, maybe 32 degrees Celsius, okay? 90 some odd degrees Fahrenheit. And our air conditioner died. And it's still dead.
And it's quite toasty here. It's very warm.
But it's not a problem.
It's a fact.
And we've done everything we can to handle it. And eventually a air conditioning technician will arrive here and fix it. It's life. If you don't get crazy with it, everything is dealable with.
The being upset about it is optional. So it's interesting. Our new calendar is out. So for those of you listening, you can purchase it on our website if you would like. And one of the things is they're all pictures I've taken, and we have a quote each month. And I believe it's October's. It said, "Getting upset is inevitable. Staying upset is optional."
Yeah.
And that's a quote from us. And I really see it. It's what you're talking about. You have that little ping of
See,
drama, and then
before you realized that you didn't have to go into that drama, it was an automatic thing you went into on a regular basis.
Yes.
Once you realize that there's an option that you don't have to go there, suddenly you have some control over your life experience. Suddenly you are not at the effect of your life. You are a proactive human being.
Mm.
I would like to acknowledge you, though, for your courage. And I'll
Yes.
tell you why. Because before letting go of the drama, as you're calling it, whether it's upset or complaining or, fill in that blank, it's not really convenient at first to recognize you have a choice. Most people are often so invested in that they're right, that the other person is wrong, and they're miserable because of the other person or because of the political situation or because of the climate
Like
change.
the circumstances of most people's lives determine how they feel about themselves and their lives. But the reality is, or our reality is that the circumstances do not determine your well-being. You do. Now, I can't tell you how to get there because there's no way to get to. If you are here, you will see that you have choice in your life, even when the circumstances are not what you prefer. Excuse me. Ariel and I just came back from a 5-day fishing trip to Canada, and there were no fish.
I mean, occasionally you could see in the mornings, you could see wakes, like disturbance on the top of the river where
we were fishing for Atlantic salmon,
but there just weren't many, and we were not, and basically nobody else were catching fish.
Any fish. Now, it's seasonal. It depends on the tides in the ocean, whether they get high enough for the fish to come in. All of that is because they come up the rivers to spawn. But we have the choice to get upset with that. But you see, look, if you're not upset, nothing's upsetting. If you are upset, everything is upsetting.
I agree.
You agree, of course. When you're well, it's all easy. Life becomes an easy thing to live.
Yeah.
The other thing is this: we stopped watching the news because the news is only upsetting. You see, upsets are based in change and the fear for the future. And you have a choice whether you want to upset yourself by looking at that. I was on a plane day before yesterday, coming back from Canada, and there was a fellow in the seat in front of me and to the left, so I could see his iPod and iPad. And he was watching a very, very violent movie. And I could look at that movie and have all that violence as an option for my life, or I could not look at that movie.
I mean, not that we don't watch violent movies, but in that moment, he had a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm against violent movies because they're just what most people find entertaining.
Yes.
And what I like what you said is what I perceive is like you said something about your truth. And your truth, if I understand it correctly, is I'm not watching the news anymore or not so often anymore. Okay. So, and that sounds to me, oh, cool. It's your truth. And in the past, I tried to sometimes to hide it, when I would not watch the news, because in society you should watch the news, you should be informed. And now what I'm trying to do at times is like, Daniela, state your truth. I mean, it's not, I don't want to offend anybody, everybody can watch the news. It's free, it's legal. But it's to sit with myself and say, it's okay to say, I'm not watching the news myself either.
Well, here's the thing. I noticed that when I watched the news, I disagreed with what people were doing, and I found myself getting upset. So if I want to stay upset, I continue doing that. But if I want to break the cycle of upset, then I stop doing those things that I disagree with.
I have something I've observed so far from things that you've said that I find kind of neat. I have a feeling that you talk to yourself after you've already chosen the direction you want to go in. Meaning, you're like, Daniela, you've said it several times, you start with your name, Daniela, you don't have to go into the drama. Or Daniela, it's okay to say, like you talk yourself into what you're already planning on doing, and you're just a step removed from
Direct.
It's not a bad thing.
It's like
but I
this.
notice
You
it.
drive a car.
Yes.
You know, when you're driving home, you know the direction to get home. You don't have to tell yourself the directions to
Turn
get
left
home.
here.
But you notice that voice in your head says it anyway.
Oh, red light ahead. I need to slow down. It's giving you directions.
But you're automatically adjusting to how your environment changes. So you're doing it naturally. You don't need that conversation.
But so I just didn't want you to think that the conversation itself is leading you to the moment. The conversation is commenting on what you're already doing.
And it's actually taking you out of the moment.
Which is fine. You know, it's not a big thing or a bad thing.
It's automatic, though. And here's the other thing. If you disregard that conversation enough, it gets quiet.
Or include it, but not believe it to be you.
Yeah.
Then it loses its influence or power over you. Because you see, if it says, oh, that person just cut me off, then you get upset as though that person's cutting in front of you caused the upset, rather than you were already driving down the road, irritated with life.
Yeah.
No good reason.
I know you have something to do after this recording. I don't want to keep you over your time frame, but I had a question for you. You mentioned as we were chatting before we started that tomorrow you're doing a first aid course that your company is sponsoring. And you were excited about it. We're excited about it because I know we spoke with you and with our listeners and with people about, for us in February, when the gentleman who was delivering something at our house fell over and had a heart attack, and we did CPR on that, and we were so happy to have that skill set. Did you set this up, or did you request it, or did the company set it up and you're like, oh, I'll do that? How did that happen for you?
Both. So my company is offering it, and I choose to do it. And I think it's a good thing to do and to have the skill set. And yeah,
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things, it's kind of like buying insurance. You hope you never need car insurance or house insurance or any other kind of insurance, but it's really nice to have it.
If something goes wrong.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, I'm very happy for you because, you know, our listeners don't get to see you, but I do. And you're looking very, very good.
But I'm happy for our listeners because you came and you said something. You said, I wanted to hear what you have to say. And I can feel that because not only my experience, but my experience of Shya. Like I'm next to him while he's talking to people for most of his life and my life. I mean, there are times we do things separate, of course, but we're often in conversation with people or doing podcasts or leading seminars. And I can tell the difference when somebody really wants to hear what he has to say. And our listeners benefit from your presence. And thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with everything Ariel just said.
Plus,
Thank you.
shout out to Michelle, who's producing, and our next guest, Sandra, who's listening also. This has been a really rich environment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
I'm Anina in Thun, Switzerland. And what I so love about transformation is that my happiness and my well-being is not dependent on the current circumstances of my life. This gives me license to be happy and content no matter what.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Speaking of Living Made Easy, we are inviting you to our Living Made Easy 2-hour virtual seminars where you'll meet amazing people like Daniela. And they're a wonderful cleansing off of the week of busyness and allow you to just drop into being here and being with people. And it's really, really lovely. The seminar we did the last thing a person said, shout out to you, Steve. He said, I love being reminded that life takes place outside my thoughts. And as a person who's really, really smart and really, really highly educated, it's really fun to see him spread his wings into the moment and include his sensibilities. And you are invited. We have
Sensibilities or senses?
I don't know. Senses for sure.
Somehow I think sensibility
Is like being sensible.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But sense able.
Sense able, like see, smell, hear, like
touch
that.
and
Touch,
appreciate
taste,
where you are.
right. Experience, in other words.
So this Saturday, the 16th, Monday, the 18th, or whenever you're listening to this, you can check our website, transformationmadeeasy.com, find what's upcoming and register.
We've got weekends also.
We do.
We have transformational time and project management in September, the 27th and 28th. That's virtual.
And then we head to Hamburg, Germany, where Susan Finch, also known as Susan Mercier, which is her married name, if you know her that way, we are leading a Speak Up seminar. Shya is standing by. It'll be
but it's Susan and Ariel who lead that seminar.
Thursday, October 23rd.
And then Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, the 24th to the 26th, we're doing practical enlightenment. And enlightenment is really practical.
I'm so happy we're doing that. And I'm so happy we get to go back to Hamburg.
Yes.
Either of those 2 weekend seminars will fulfill the prerequisites you wish to join us in Costa Rica in 2026. You can find out all about all of our seminars and also order your calendars at transformationmadeeasy.com. All right, next guest, Sandra. Welcome to being here.
Hi, Ariel and Shya.
Hi.
I'm Sandra. And I'm calling in from Schönenbuch in Switzerland.
Schönenberg. Good book.
Schönenbuch. The good
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. We have a friend, we may have told you this, Andy Schneeflock, whose grandmother is over 100 years old, and they call her Good Book.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to Andy. Shout out to your grandma. So
Yeah, it's so nice to be with you guys and listening to Daniela before. And I just noticed it slowed me down when I was listening to Daniela and you guys. I didn't have a specific question, but I noticed how I got slower.
Slower or calm?
Calm. That's the right word. Yeah.
Slower is,
for some people, slow. Slower for some people may be frightening, but you're talking about your mind quieted, I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's one of the interesting things about listening. It pulls you into the current moment of your life. Most of the time, see, no two things can occupy you at the same time. If you're listening to somebody and really listening, not having a conversation with yourself about what they're saying, but listening to it, you get pulled into the current moment of your life. And then that's all there is. See, the only thing there is what's happening in the current moment. Your future never gets here until it does. And it's always a current moment. And the past is all gone by. But we've been trained, we've been domesticated. The wildness has come out of us. And we've been domesticated into behaving properly to live in society.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's not fun.
But our minds are interesting computers. Daniela was really alluding to it, where we're used to pinging out, like almost like a cell phone tower. We ping out to find the tower. We ping out to see what other people may want or like or dislike. And then we shrink to conform in ways that people don't even necessarily want from us, but we're trying to fit.
Well, look, I live with Ariel. We've lived together for the past 43 years. There are moments when I'm being careful that I don't say or do something that she'll find disturbing. And I find that interesting. When that happens, I'm already disturbed. See, otherwise,
so you notice that when, or you feel that you are disturbed when you do that?
Yes, because otherwise I wouldn't care. See, we have this very interesting relationship where I live my life, she lives hers, and we live in the same environment.
And we've also trained ourselves to be kind to ourselves and each other. So when he says, normally I wouldn't care, it's not that I can say any awful thing to you and I don't care what you think. It's not that. It's that there's nothing he says that's inappropriate or meant to be upsetting or disturbing.
Unless we are already upset.
So if he's talking to himself, oh, I better not do that because it might disturb Ariel, somehow there's already a disconnect.
That for me is like an indicator that there's an upset in our space that I would have to be careful with a person that I love and I adore, and I want to be happy.
So what's interesting about it, Sandra, is that when that happens, he would say, I'm having this strange experience. I'm feeling like I should be careful because anything I say might upset you. And then it's like, for me, an opportunity to look, oh, really? I've got nothing going on. What would you like to say? Or, oh, yeah, I've been a little tight in myself. Or it's a truing mechanism. Anything you see without judging completes itself in an instant. life shows up exactly as it does. So in that moment, he's feeling like, oh, I need to be careful. And that's not something he needs to hide.
I really like that you said that, because I notice myself, I don't share something. Like if I have a thought like that, I don't share it. And I try to experience that lately a little bit more, so that I could see that this comes up, that I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that because I think you are, or I could, how do you say that? Something could happen afterwards with the feelings,
Right.
for example, to my boyfriend. And then
Yes.
actually I share that I have this thought. I
You have
try that.
been sharing it.
Yeah. I like listening to you. I like your accent. I like your facial expressions. And it's like I'm watching a culture express itself in you. I don't know how better to express that, but it's a pleasure to be with you, Sandra.
Thank you.
And I don't think it's because I like you. I think it's because you are liking you.
Not always.
But how about in this moment?
How about now?
Now I do.
I love that you said that, not always. You just demonstrated what we were talking about with Daniela. Uh, back at the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about how people have that collection of detractors about themselves, or things they think that are negative. Or so if somebody gives you a compliment, what comes through is all the times that she was being perhaps snippy with her daughter or her boyfriend, or she had unkind thoughts. And that's just what you demonstrated. You didn't look at what's here right now. You went back historically to grab your list against yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This episode is called Living Made Easy. And life gets easy when you're kind to yourself. We've been raised by people who've been very hard on themselves, and they have needed to be because it's all they knew. Not because being hard on yourself makes life easier. But if all you know is that you have to get yourself up to get to work and do the things that need to get done, then that's all you know. The option to be kind, to be notice when you get upset and not yell at yourself for getting upset, but just notice it. That doesn't exist for most people. That you have that as an option allows it to manifest. See?
I like to have options. That's really nice.
Yes, and you may not have communicated, hey, I'm feeling tight, or I'm it could even be Shia go, wow, I'm just feeling really grouchy. Like if he describes it, it's similar to what we were talking about body work, where we push in on the tight muscle or the pain and you experience it. If he could describe really he'll say, if he says something like I'm grouchy, or I say it, then it's like, really, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts saying? What's happening? And it's like, I just am disagreeing with the fact that, I don't know, I'm making up something now. I haven't had enough sleep or coffee, or I've had,
too much coffee.
It's like, and he'll report it, and then it's done. And most people have never had that option.
And the other thing is, we don't blame each other for how we're feeling.
So it's not
her fault.
He's not like, I'm feeling grouchy. Really, wife? Because you did. You
didn't tighten the jar, the lid on the jar. That used to be one of my things.
Well, also, when she said she slowed down, I get that. When I'm speedy, I'm ahead of myself, I'm thinking about where I'm going, and I put the lid on a jar, I don't or I have traditionally not tightened it down. So sometimes when Shai picks up that jar,
It drops.
the jar and the lid are going two places. So then he can get grouchy over.
Blame my upset. If I'm not upset and something goes wrong, I'm still not upset. But if I am upset and something goes wrong, I seem to blame the thing that went wrong for causing the upset. And that's where most people are in their lives. They blame the circumstances and what's happening for how they feel, rather than realize that you have this option to feel well in yourself, even if the circumstances don't meet your preferences.
Yes. Actually, I have a good story about this with the preferences. I was just recently on holiday, and we planned a few hiking trips in this week. And on the third day, I got beaten by a wasp. Do you say that like this?
They say stung. Yeah.
Stung. Yeah. So actually, I was swimming in the lake, and the wasp was on the water, and the water came into my mouth. So it was actually in the mouth.
Your mouth. Ooh.
Yes. So I could see how I got really like, oh my God, I got really nervous because of the place where I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But then actually I knew what I have to do. I have to make sure to get it out, cool it down immediately, and then got to a doctor. And then actually I got a super treatment from a doctor, and it was done within an hour.
That's great.
And then she said, so you have to do like 2 really lazy days, or not going on big hikes, or maybe little walks, or just a little bit swimming. And my mind was like, but I want to do these hiking trips, and I can't do it now. And we got so much time just hanging around, and it was
That's
so lovely.
great. That's very sweet.
Isn't that kind of cool that you got doctor's orders to
be
relax
intimate
and be intimate? Yeah. Oh, I have to hang out with you because doctor's orders. We can't go on this hike.
Yeah, so that was cool to see that I have choices that I can say, oh, I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to do more activities in my holidays, or just have time spent together, hanging around. That was lovely.
Great.
Also love that you had that instantaneous, like, mini freak out getting stung on the roof of the mouth by a wasp has to be frightening. And then you dealt with it. That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
Was cool.
Well, hey, Sandra, you're cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you as well for the reminders with the dates for the shows. I just noticed that I haven't put in my calendar the 15th, and I want to be on the next Living Made Easy.
Excellent.
Well, thank you.
Excellent. So
it'll be a pleasure to have you there.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. I think it is. Oh, yes. That's the 15th. It's for this one that we're coming up for us. But for the people who are listening, it's August 16th and Monday the 18th. So, yeah, thank you. You're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
Again, you guys can all go to Transformation Made Easy, go to the Living Made Easy page, pick a date or series of dates that work for you. A lot of people pick a series of dates at one time, schedule them, register, schedule them, and then they, it's kind of like me with Pilates. We schedule us a month in advance and then we go. And we're not having a conversation about whether or not we want to. We go, and our stamina, health, well-being, everything is benefiting. And so I recommend it. Thanks for being with us today.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Another thing y'all can do, should you wish, you can subscribe to the podcast. You can share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Again, find all our courses and newsletter sign-up link and calendar purchase page at transformationmadeeasy.com. Next week's episode
Is You Are Capable.
as these two lovely ladies just demonstrated.
Right.
Thank you for being here. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
Being here.